Hi, this is Ty for Same Day Hot Water. Today we're going to be talking about the valves that go on your hot water system. So right here we've got a Dux 135 litre hot water heater. So some of these valves will be applicable all the time for these tanks, sometimes they won't be. Okay, for starters we have a duo valve. So what a duo valve is it's an isolation valve as well as one-way valve. So it will let water go through, but it will not let water go back. It physically stops that water. And what I said about isolation, it also isolates the tank as well from water going in. Okay, so this is a ball valve style type. This is from a company called AVG, Australian Valve Group, which we quite like their valves. That's why we use them. But this is a duo valve. This is the first valve usually on your what's called valve train. This valve is a pressure limiting valve. This normally goes after the duo valve and reduces the pressure before it goes into the tank itself. This valve here is actually a tricep valve from AVG, Australian Valve Group, and it goes from 350, 500 and 600 kPa. The majority of tanks I will set to 500 kPa. In some instances, these gas tanks that have a higher pressure tolerance, they do not necessarily need this valve, especially if the pressure is already under 500 kPa. The third valve that I've got is a tempering valve. This valve will reduce the temperature before it goes into the household. So if you look here, there's a small little H and a small little C. H for hot, C for cold. We have hot water that comes in through the hot water outlet into this valve, and then cold water that feeds through the bottom. This mixes around and goes into the house. This will reduce the temperature to approximately 50 degrees and is required on most houses these days. So this tempering valve will have hot water from the outlet feed in to the top of the tempering valve with the H, and we'll have cold water feed from the bottom usually into the C side before it goes into the household. So this is the side of the hot water heater. This valve is a pressure temperature relief valve. So this does a couple of things. It fits in the side of the hot water heater, so the side that's marked relief valve. Okay, and there are quite a few sizes. So the first size that we have usually is a 700 kPa, and then we normally have an 850 kPa, 1000 kPa and 1400 kPa. Depending on the hot water heater, we'll decide what valve gets installed. So this will do a couple of things. When water heats up, it expands, and that expansion needs to go somewhere. So this valve will trickle that water out and stop the tank from blowing off its top. Okay, the other one that it'll do is over temperature. So at 95 to 99 degrees, this valve will dump water and reduce the water inside the tank. That's an indication that the tank is overheated if that happens. Okay, so you need to get someone out here if something like that was to happen. The last valve I've got is a cold water expansion valve. Now, not all states and areas require this valve to be put in. It's more associated with poorer water qualities in like South Australia, Western Australia, and there's a few parts of Queensland that need this valve installed as well. This is an additional safeguard if this valve was ever to fail, that it will reduce the pressure, as well as it is also set at a slightly lower pressure than the pressure temperature relief valve. So this will actually leak water before the pressure temperature relief valve will, because of the lower pressure setting that the valve is set at. So if you either need a hot water heater supplied, installed or serviced, give us a phone call here at Same Day Hot Water on 1300 721 996 or visit samedayhotwaterservice.com.au.